Hi, this is Donna back again. And today's subject is, can man or woman talk to God? Can we really speak to God and know it's Him? Can we really have a relationship with God? I mean, a real relationship like you would have with your earthly parents, your earthly friends, your earthly cousins and sisters and brothers. Can you really talk to God? I'm going to give you some examples of some people in the Bible, like Elijah. He spoke to God. We have Joseph. We have two Josephs, and God can speak to you either in a vision or a dream or audible. Some people don't believe that God speaks to you. I remember a while back, I was talking to this person and he before he even walked up to me. I'm going to give you what happened. Before he even walked up to me, he had his Bible in his hand. I kind of knew of him through a friend. So I was sitting by a pool and I had my feet in the water just hanging out. And I could feel here in my spirit the Lord saying, don't talk to him about me. And I was like, okay. And I had I wasn't going to speak to him at all about God. I already had it in my mind. Okay, I'm not going to even bring up God. I'm just going to, just talk to him, just say hi. So I said hi to him and he came over. He had his Bible. It was Sunday. He had just got out of church. I think it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So he walks over and he has his suit on and he has his hat on and everything. And he's just walking up. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm not going to say anything about God, because see, that's what he already said. Don't speak to him about me. And I was like, at first I was questioning, is that God saying that? And then as the guy approached and he started talking to me, and we was talking about the water, and it was nice water, da 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 da. And all of a sudden, the subject of God did come up. I didn't mean to it. I don't know how it went into our conversation, but was talking to him, and I said, well, we were talking about prayer and stuff like that. And he said, well, I said, well, you need to ask God about that. And he jumped up because we were like sitting, he was sitting in the chair and I was still sitting in the pool area, right on the edge of the pool. And he jumps up and he almost like ran into the fence. And he go, we can't talk to God. We can't talk to God. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, and then I started laughing because I remember what God had said to me, like, do not mention God to him. Do not mention him to him. And I had did it, and then I realized why. Because God, he was freaked out. He ran into the fence. Oh, we can't talk to God. That's why we have the Bible. That's why we have the Bible. We don't talk to God. And I looked at him and go, okay, all right, just calm down. And I just started laughing. So he walked away. And then my friend came up and I was laughing and I was telling her what happened. And she informed me that he goes to the church that she was going to, and he was over there. See, this is why people don't talk to God. You know what? Thank you, Lord, for giving me this, because I just realized something. Because when my friend came over and was talking to me about him, and I was telling her the story, what happened, he jumped up and really almost ran into the fence, talking about we can't talk to God. He was over there going to see a lady, and he's a married man. So I was like, oh, now I get it. Because see, guilt can keep you from talking to God. Guilt can stop you from talking to God. I was like, oh, now I get it. And I think about when Adam was in the garden. And at first, God would come up and talk to him, and they would hang out. Adam was walking around nude, naked, just really just free. And when that happened, when he came into sin, then he was separated, and we got separated from God. So I guess you can't hear from God or talk to God when you're walking in sin. You're unable to speak to God because it's a blockage. And that's what was going on with that guy. He actually had a blockage to where, okay, he cannot talk to God. Now I understand why some people say you can't speak to God. That's because the life they're living is not a life where God it's a separation between them and God. So God is not going to be able to come in and speak to them the way he would like to because of guilt. Because now they're in a guilty mode. I mean, when he backed up into that fence, I thought he was going to go through the fence. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, just like calm down. It was so funny to me. I just stood there and started laughing. But now I understand because he wasn't able to speak to God. He can't talk to God. You can't talk to God when you're walking in sin. You can't talk to God. God is hard to relate. You can't relate to God because God cannot see sin. God is not a part of sin. So when he did that, it let me know, oh, I get it. It's because of his relationship or non-relationship with God. Because if he knew that God, you were able to talk to him, he knows consequences behind him walking in sin and going to see this woman that's not even his wife right after church. That just really trips me out. That's the boldness of it. But it just lets you know that people can be religious and not have relationship with God. They can be religious people with no relationship. That's why they're not able to speak to God. So look at your heart. Look at where you are. If you're not able to speak to God, it's an issue somewhere. If you don't believe you can speak to God, there's an issue somewhere. Because if you think you can't, if you really realize that you can speak to God and God is real and God is realer than real, then you know, wait a minute, I can't be doing the things I've been doing out there because God is real. God will speak to me. God will show me things. But some people don't want to know. So they rather be blinded to the fact that God does speak to you. I know he speaks to me, and he just spoke to me a few minutes ago because when I was going to talk about this, I was going to talk about a different subject, of the same subject, but I was going a different route. But then God reminded me of what happened with that guy in this pool area by this fence. It was so hilarious. I thought he was going to trip over his own feet. But that just goes to show when you're walking in sin, you cannot talk to God. You cannot hear God. And you probably don't want to. That's probably what it was. And it was so funny to me. Because here's this man walking up with this, he had pure Bible in his hand. He just got out of church. I'm thinking maybe he was going to minister to somebody. That's my thought. I thought he was going in there to bless somebody, to, encourage them. And no, he going in there for a different reason. So when he reacted like that, it was out of fear because he knows he's wrong. When you're walking in wrongness, you don't want to hear from God, evidently. So all that all together let you know that God does want to talk to us, but we got to be in the right position to talk to him. And you can hear from him if we're in the right position. Make sure that you stay in the right position. I thank you, Lord, right now for giving me that understanding in my spirit, in my heart, so I can be in the right position because I don't ever want to be apart from you. And that's my prayer for all of us and everyone that listened to this today, that we stay in the right position with God so we can hear from him. You have a blessed day. This is Donna Boyd, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.